Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dustin Lukey. Today is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Day, dedicated to spreading awareness about the violence often committed against Native American women, violence that can be overlooked. News 19's Danny Smith and photographer Crystal Flintrop take us to Riverside Park for an event that calls attention to this issue.
We go missing 3 times, right? We go missing in person, we go missing in the data, and we go missing in media.
A run walk in Riverside Park to raise awareness about a serious problem. Underreported and often uninvestigated cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women.
We have had a tremendous amount of loss in our communities, and to this day it's estimated that the rate of the women that are going missing is 10 times higher than any other race in this country.
The event is put on by several organizations, including Wisconsin's MMIW Task Force, developed in 2020 to gauge the full scale of the issue and come up with a solution.
These efforts are coming from the backs of the families. The families really have cried for justice and demanding justice for their missing relatives.
Family members like Maya and Stelina Decora.
I'm here because my aunt was murdered in Nebraska, and I guess I just want to be here and spread her voice.
Stelina's Aunt Cozy was a victim of domestic abuse. 2 years after her passing, her niece and sister are making sure she isn't forgotten.
I just want to keep her voice alive, her story, not let her murder go in vain.
It's just really sad because these things shouldn't be happening in our communities.
The families are tasked with not only grieving their family member when the violence happens, but then they have to demand for justice and they have to create the awareness.
Rufus says it's important that everyone cares about this issue, no matter your background, race, or gender.
The general public needs to really join in our cause and really want better for Wisconsin and want better for our communities.
In La Crosse, Danny Smith, News 19.
Justine Rufus adds the task force is still collecting data, but will have a final report by this December. That report will list the number of missing and murdered Indigenous women in Wisconsin, something that has never been accurately documented before. Wisconsin's lieutenant governor and member of that task force, Mandela Barnes, also taking part in the race today. He says events like this are crucial to the task force's end goal.
This event is so important to be able to tell the stories, to remind those who are still out there, that they are not forgotten. There are people who are waiting for them to come home and people who are dedicated to doing the work to make it happen.
Barnes says there are a number of recommendations coming out of the task force that could help protect these women.